Hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Atlanta United Fan TV, coming to you live from Atlanta United Fan TV headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, after a riveting, is that the right word? 2-2 draw against West Coast, not rivals, strangers, really, Houston Dynamo. I haven't seen them in a while. I think the last time we saw them was almost 4 or so years ago. It's been a long time since we've crossed swords with them. I think that we've had the better of the opportunities against that team, but this game ended in a draw. So, welcome in. Hope everyone else also had a good time at the game tonight, or if you were watching at home, how you felt about this game. Let us know how you felt in the chat. We are here to talk about it. I got my friend here who visited me for his first game at Atlanta United game tonight. What did you think? What did you feel? What are the emotions?
I love the energy that we had in the stadium, especially like the supporter section. Supporter section. Thank you. Yes, I'm gonna make a lot of those mistakes tonight. Okay.
That thing.
I loved the energy that they definitely had. You could hear it across the stadium. But for the game, yeah, I was on my feet half the time. You know, screaming, just cheering them on. You know, when when they scored those 2 goals, I was definitely halfway in tears. But it was I mean, let's be honest, I was very upset.
Brought to tears.
That's
right.
But no, it was a great game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I will be back for more. You know, I'm Atlanta born and bred, and I've been gone for a while, so I gotta get back into it.
That's right. This is not a terrible reintroduction to the Atlanta soccer ecosystem, considering it wasn't a loss. So there's that in a very tumultuous time for this team. We have had a very poor run of form over the last, you name it, and we were able to scrounge out 1 point out of a draw against a okay team from the Western Conference. So, all in all, not great, but it is potentially signs of things that are good to come. So, with that, we're going to hop in real quick and talk to our good friend, our Lord and Savior, AJ. How are you doing after that game? What are you feeling? What are your emotions? Dial me in. What's going on?
Yeah, I wouldn't call Lord and Savior, but thank you everybody for joining in later than usual, than how we usually do. But I mean, you know, it's not a result that we wanted. We looked to be in a commanding position before we gave up the goal, unfortunately, but. It's another late inning. Not inning. What am I? I'm sleepy, guys. It's late. It is. I've had a day. Not inning. Late part of the match. Dying moments. And it's just one of those, you know, it's something that we are often used to seeing, unfortunately, this season. It's something that, we looked pretty decent after a pretty auspicious start to, 5th minute goal from our good friend Franco Escobar, and it was a very Franco Escobar match for sure because he scores, then he gets a yellow card, he argues with the ref. It's just absolutely
That's what he does.
What we come to expect. But, it looked like, okay, we suffered an injury to Edmund Mascara, and Brennan came on and he just changed the match. He just looked like a man possessed, trying to prove that he belongs, and the homegrown absolutely was bossing pretty much everyone that was trying to defend him on the wing. Franco Escobar included. He had to switch over into the right center back role, into a right, or there was a 3 center back look later on in the match for Houston. But yeah, I mean, at one point he gets shoved, and things kind of fly off a little bit to fracas, and I mean, it's just I think it showed that pretty much that Brennan was the guy that was pissing them off. He everything he was doing, he had a big part in our first goal. Almada, after that miss, Rios was able to clean it up, and it's a good first goal because Rios kind of starts the whole move by pressing up high and not giving up on the play and believing in himself to be able to pick up the ball in a moment where we were already down, and that's some good fight. That's some good I think something that we didn't see pretty much in the past 2 months.
Tenacity.
And so going down, we didn't. I mean, I think some people were thinking in their heads probably, how bad is this going to get if their heads drop? Heads did drop, and it was good in that sense, but we bookended the match with of course the equalizer from Houston, and so it puts a damper on the type of night that it could have been. But man, like for the most part, it's like, okay, yeah, it's still a tough game. Houston, I mean, they didn't absolutely make it really like super difficult, and I would say from minute 10 to probably about minute 85. But then it's just kind of we can't close out games. It's just what happens. And Rob Valentino's era begins with a draw, which now we're 6 winless still at home. But we also, Yorgos Akamakis, he's pretty much about to be a Cruz Azul player. So it's just, you have that, you have Saba missing, you have Bartosz Szlis missing, you have Stian Gregerson missing due to injury. Expecting more than that when the team at the moment is probably a bit much. But I think we saw a better performance than what we have experienced in the last 2 months, large part, sans the Inter Miami match.
Yeah, absolutely. I expected a 1-1 draw out of this match. We ended up getting a 2-2 draw. It's shared points like we kind of expected. I just didn't think we had enough to lift ourselves above a decent Western, conference team who has, last year won the Open Cup. They can hurt you. They can do things. They haven't been very prolific in terms of their scoring. Their defensiveness has been something lauded in the league. We, on the other hand, have been leaking goals like crazy and have been having trouble. Well, not leaking goals like crazy. In the last couple games, maybe so. But for the most part, we've been unable. We're having a poverty of goal scoring. We're having an issue scoring the goals. So even if we get one down, we're looking at trouble. That was concerning when we immediately had one goal against us with Franco Escobar. That was very concerning to me. That was like making me think perhaps we're looking at a similar game that we've been accustomed to over the last couple weeks, last couple months even. And that was very disheartening. I was like, can we find a way to, climb out of this? Is there a way for us to battle back? Is there a way for us to make the Mercedes-Benz seem like some place where you got to fight for points again? It seemed like, overall, the team, the effort tonight, seemed like it was there. It seemed like they weren't just, like you said earlier, they weren't down, their heads didn't go down. They continued to fight there were some players who were going in and out of effort and intensity throughout the game that Thiago Amato being one of them, that I thought was a little conspicuous. But for the most part, it seemed like the team was like, okay, we got the memo, new coach, let's try something new, let's throw, the kitchen sink at it, and let's just, all of our energy, all of our enthusiasm, let's see what we can get out of this. And against a team that perhaps may not be able to stomach something like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, Houston can. They're not a team that is so easily overlooked. The last couple seasons have proved that. Their win in the Open Cup proves that. And even though we tied them, at home, away is probably a very different story, but at home, at least, we've shown that you can't get out of here without at least a little bit of a scrap. And that's at least some arrows pointing in semi of a right direction, perhaps. At least that's something I'm hoping for.
Right. Because it was this. I think, their first goal was definitely in the run of play where they started off hot. Like, they looked like likely to score. It was it pinballed a little bit. We got a little unlucky, but both goals are back post. It's just players missing assignments, missing the urgency. I think to smell the danger.
I mean, that Escobar goal was pinball. I mean, that's hard to defend pinball. Like
it is to a degree, but I think it's the initial start. There's always going to be ebbs and flows to a match, but I think the expectation is that you should come out of the blocks hot at home. I mean, not the other team, and instead they did. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a little bit more really where we dominated at least the chances created, the XG, and I think it's not just saying this like kind of how Gonzalo Pineda had recently. It was, you can actually feel that it was actually where. Yeah, it wasn't really where Houston was really threatening a ton. But then, yeah, it's just not being able to close out matches. But also, I mean, it's like Xande Silva's goal was not exactly one of those goals that you would have banked on either from the shot that he took.
Yeah,
but
he typically misses those. Like,
yeah, but the last two goals have been just like, where has this been?
Listen, bro, I watched a Luis Araújo goal earlier this week. I mean, maybe even two of them, and I was like, where was this when he's in Atlanta? But it's just like sometimes, broken clock, right twice, so.
Yeah, right twice a day. So,
Twice a day?
I mean, yeah, what a goal, what a strike by Xande Silva. And also, yeah, it's like, the chance for Luke Brennan at the end of the match, pretty much, where he was trying to, shoot it in backwards, pretty much, almost a little like, kind of on the volley type of like, sort of bike, but not really. It was a interesting shot, but yeah, basically, what could have been. Almost if he had hit that, but it did sail over the bar, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
it would have been wild.
Yeah, but he was very hungry. He wanted to score a goal. He absolutely would have deserved it too. He got a hockey assist in this, but I think it absolutely is where if he got on the score sheet, I think it would have been justly deserved.
Yeah.
But,
He was trying to will that shit into existence. Absolutely.
Oh, no.
Like, he put, like, I mean, this is the example, the quintessential example of when a player is given an opportunity. He's like, it's like Eminem's like one shot, one opportunity, and he's just like, here's my shot. And then he puts it all out there. And he just, trying his best. And you know, there's some decent production coming from him. So you look at extremely young.
He's so young.
You look at that versus a player like Edwin Mosquera, and you're like, let's talk about potentially not having chaos ball versus at least Luke Brennan. Like, will give you, obviously run down the flank, obviously give you like maybe a decent cross. It's looking like decent crosses are in his toolbox, whereas Mosquera's like, maybe I'll put the ball in frame, maybe I'll put the ball in the hemisphere that our players are. We're not sure, so it's just wild with him. And Luke Brennan may be an interesting alternative. Who knows?
I mean, he's just so young. I mean, coming up from where he's playing to like the quality where he is now, there has to be some seasoning to that. Yeah. Like, there's, even if you play collegiate soccer, like the difference between collegiate and MLS, it's, you can't just step up and be, number one.
Right.
You're not Messi day one.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So being so young and still being able to not make a complete fool of himself.
I mean, that's it's massive, and that's like for the development of the guy. That's essential, right? To give him these types of minutes so he can prove himself and to cut his teeth and stuff like that. And that's massive. So maybe this type of thing makes him into a guy who can replace someone like Edwin Mosquera or something like that. But who knows?
And on Mosquera, I think what's interesting is that he had a pretty decent match before he got injured. Actually, he had been skipping past a few people in midfield, even with some tidy footwork.
Well, when you're that fast,
good touches in tight spaces. It's I was like, ooh, wow, okay, that was Mosquera, but a quick little injury on the sidelines there, and then another instance, and he had to go off. What could have been kind of a costly injury very early on in the match, kind of pretty much just completely.
It's just another injury in a long list, in a long season of injuries that I just. What do you got to do to not be the guy in charge of a team that all of your starters are just constantly getting injured? Like, no matter what you do, it doesn't matter. You just have, next game, another starter injured. Next game, another starter injured.
Yeah.
It's just
especially when it's a knock, it's unlucky. It's not really something that,
Well, that's the thing with consistency, right? It's like, this is what Pineda was talking about for forever. It's just that you lack having the starting 11 consistency that you need over an entire season, or at least half season, to generate anything. And then it's just, you get this guy gets a knock, this guy gets a knock, this guy gets a knock. And it's just, you just never have the same starting 11. And that's the thing with, like, Sam Jones talking about, like, like the 9+2, right? You just never have the ideal starting 11. You never have the right firepower, the correct formation and personnel to do the damn job. And it just gets worse every single time. And everyone goes, what do you do about that? And everyone who talks about it says, I have no effing idea, because how do you tell a guy not to get a knock?
Injuries add up too. You got a little one here, a little one here, a little one here.
We're seeing that. We're seeing that with Steven Gregerson. Like, it's just, I wouldn't be surprised now if he has now become injury prone because of the fact that he's now in Atlanta or something like that. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, it's so upsetting, and I don't want this to be the Achilles heel of this team, and the reason why we can write seasons off. But here we are again. It's like been 2 seasons of this, and it's just, I'm like, when can we start competing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's basically whatever maybe goat has been sacrificed, or there needs to be some just better juju.
We'll bring it next time at the tailgate. We'll actually have we'll figure it out. We'll get some. We'll do the research. We'll figure it out.
I'll say it was my first game. You should have sacrificed me.
That's true.
I was the game virgin. You should have sacrificed me.
He's a bit of a virgin. We probably should have done that.
First game. So you missed out.
Easy
Solution.
solution.
You can't do it.
Yeah, in some cultures, those are the people that are sacrificed. So yeah, for
Thanks,
sure.
AJ.
Could be this culture too. We haven't discerned it yet, but it could be.
Yeah. But Atlanta culture, we're still figuring that out. So maybe.
I mean, if the Braves haven't decided on that yet, then I don't know who's gonna. So
I don't know. We sacrificed our hockey team.
That's true. The hockey team was sacrificed to maybe give the Braves the pennant or the.
We sacrificed them for the Hawks.
Oh, it's for the Hawks.
Because the Hawks did good one season and then just died.
Well, I mean the Braves.
Braves haven't been good since Bobby Cox left. Don't get me started.
Okay. All right.
This is MLS, not baseball. Okay. Yeah.
Braves have been good since Bobby Cox left. They've won a World Series.
That was why I was. Yes, that's why I was saying.
Yeah.
That's why the Thrashers have left. Is so the Braves, so the Thrashers walked, so the Braves could run.
For too long, okay? California and San Diego, we have the Padres.
They don't have TVs. They don't have internet. They don't have radio.
I've eaten too many vegan and soy food to know about baseball.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Okay? That's where exactly. That's where the mustache came from.
And let's talk one at a time. So it's probably not good for viewing if we're all talking at the same time.
That's what you think. Anyway,
I don't
keep
think
going.
I'm good for viewing. Okay, so
that's true.
But so anyway, let's read what the chat's saying.
Chat is quiet tonight. We only got one comment, and it's from our good friend Drew. Jesus Christ. Positives of the match: Luke Brennan looks like he belongs on the team, and we look more free. Negatives are that we still are unorganized at the back, and we keep giving up late goals. I mean, those are accurate facts of the match. But you have to understand, and I'm sure you do, Drew, that this is not our ideal starting 11. This is not our defense that's supposed to stand up to, MLS class offenses. It's just not. And if you expect it to, you're going to be let down. So, I came into this game going, we're going to let in goals. We don't have Stan Gregerson, we don't have Louis Abram. Yeah, we have Williams, and he's okay, but Noah Cobb can get exploited. He's still not there yet to be able to be at MLS level to be a absolute solid backline contributor. So I feel like, it's pretty obvious as to what was going to happen in this game, and it transpired that way.
Yeah, because it's not just on the center backs; it's our fullbacks and our
six. Our six also can't shield because he's an old man. He did his best.
Yeah, and he was doing pretty well for the most part.
He's older than you. He's older than you. He's playing professional soccer.
Exactly, and he's doing really quite well. I think with Wiley as well, he was getting cooked a good bit. Our left side was getting exposed a number of times. Yeah,
we forget Wiley is as young as he is. We forget sometimes, we because he's a starter. Everyone's like, he's a solid player, and then forget how fucking young the guy is. He can get exposed, of course, and it's just I gotta make that allowance for him when someone says oh, he got cooked. It's well, of course he did. Right? You got to expect that. For an MLS starting caliber winger is likely. That's possibly a DP. That kind of guy might absolutely expose a 19-year-old. Of course it could. So I don't get.
Yeah, it was time and time, but we need to point it out, and that's the point. Is that
of course
he's not beyond criticism.
You gotta produce when you're playing for this first team.
Exactly. Otherwise, yes, you have to have competition for places for, basically being able to have somebody that can maybe defend, those players, and
which we don't. We do not have that in the back positions. The fullback position, we are experiencing a poverty of fullback positions right now. We need to really do something about that.
It is the issue in the roster construction, and Brooke Brooks Lennon as well, where it's we know his deficiencies. He's not absolutely always switched on defensively. He's more of a winger than he is fully a fullback. But I think ultimately he does the job. But there are moments, and it just continues to happen. But also, Luke Brennan, as well as he was playing, I think as far as contributing to the attack and pressing up high, unfortunately, it probably was his man for the second goal for Houston. And, that's something that he'll learn to, pick up. Marcus Guy, for the full 90, whether he was fully 90 minutes fit, that's a whole different story because,
had to be.
You gotta be. Yeah, you got to be able to. He was pulled on in a pinch essentially, so difficult for him either way. So if he contributed a lot in attack, I'll take that every single time. But it is still, it is the factual part of it. I think what's also interesting is the lineup that came out, which Rios over TRA. TRA probably is the guy that's.
I was surprised by that too. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
it's
seems.
the guy who makes more.
I mean that's the thing, right? Maybe change something up because Pineda had favored TRA as the second guy, and now it seems like Daniel's the second guy. So.
Could be, yeah.
Different coaches.
Different coaches.
Especially when TRA had scored recently as well.
And it seems like it was the right decision. I don't know if I mean, well, here you go. I mean, Jamal and anyone could have. I could have scored that ball. That it basically falls right in front of him, open almost goal, and Daniel was able to score it. So
he starts the move. So it's not like it's in no slight to the type of chance he, his ability to, press up high, to stick with it, the ball he played to, Luke Brennan, so that Brennan could find Almada. Almada shot when, whether he should have shot there or not. At least, it should have been maybe a better shot, but he's got to
do something. He's the guy who feels like he's got to do something to energize the team. So
gotta produce.
And so the ball parries fortuitously to Rios, who starts to play.
Finally, I feel like that never happens for Atlanta. I feel like there's so many times where the ball will just bounce haphazardly. And it'll land on just just so happened to land on the opposing team striker's dominant foot, and he's in a perfect position. And it's thank goodness, finally it happened for Atlanta.
Yeah, that's that type of play that he followed through the entire play to make sure that he was on. And it wasn't exactly the back post, but he was in the middle of the box. To make sure that, Almada shot, the ball rebounded, he was there to put it away. And that's what strikers do.
Yeah. It was a poacher's goal. There was at least, maybe 2 times where he probably should have been in his place for a poacher's other goal, but he did not put himself in that place. He was too slow to get there, too slow to react to what the situation was. There was at least one header. Luke Brennan was one of them where he put a hasty cross off, and no one was there.
Rios, he just missed it, but then Johnny Silva was just kind of admiring the ball a bit, and
no one thought that the threat would be coming from the right side. We talked about this at the halftime, meetup that some people were saying maybe a goal or two will come from the right side, and I was thinking it's probably gonna come from the left. Ended up coming from the left, not tooting my own horn or anything, but just saying,
we won't.
I was just, I was like, it probably is not going to come from Luke Brennan, but I would love it. I would love that if that were the case. And it was that That was a tasty ball teasing across the mouth of goal. Unfortunately, none of us could get their head or foot or any appendage that could score on it.
Yeah, and then another interesting, definitely part of the starting 11 was Raguzan back in the starting 11.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Valentino has some things that he's saying here by making that choice, which, it's a team captain. It's the most senior the most senior player on the team, and basically by having the captain bought in, I think that's how you get the rest of the team bought in as well. So I can surmise maybe why he made that choice. Now, obviously, there are some people that are thinking, okay, Cohen hasn't done much to lose that place.
He really hasn't. Yeah, there was a bit of a shellacking last game, but it's a lot of those goals weren't on him, in my opinion.
Right, but it also is, though, Guzan is calmer in possession, and
he did drop some dimes tonight. There was some times where his distribution on point. Cohen still not the best at that, and this was great on him, but I don't think this won us or lost us the game. Again, the decision about goalie for me does not make or break Atlanta United in this season. This is chocolate and vanilla. They're both great. Okay, they're both going to do a job. They're going to satiate your appetite for sweets, and you'll be good, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I think the argument about great, that's the question. Is it's basically chocolate and vanilla. I think it's good enough. This may be preferential, or maybe look, it's real talk. Chocolate and vanilla aren't good enough as ice cream flavors, and are not good enough.
In this scenario, they're not. In general they are, but you're right. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Right, but as far as Guzan and Cohen, they're not good enough as
right. Because I will fight you on that. But yes, you're right. Yeah.
Right, as difference makers for Atlanta United this season, and so yes, going along with the metaphor, it's true. I'm more of a strawberry ice cream person, or pistachio if you want to get really crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So it's
wild.
Whoa.
I know. But let's go get that true flavor at goalkeeper for LA United that will actually save us points. But
Oh, so you're saying we should have gone with Loris? We should have grabbed him.
Loris? No. I don't think he's ultimately.
I'm just saying, not him, but it's an absolute in one direction versus in something else, instead of hedging on two in either direction.
No, I don't think Hugo Lloris is a player that we should have gone for.
No, I agree. Yeah, absolutely not. But I'm just saying, if you're saying we need to. Eschew chocolate, vanilla, and just go pistachio, all in pistachio, then what does that look like in terms of a goalie?
Nutty.
Right.
Nutty, that's right, nutty.
Looks nutty, yeah.
Obviously, it's I think it's more of a goalkeeper that, with the way that we want to play, it's being braver on the ball. And, there were some moments that Brad Guzan was able to kind of lure in the I guess the opposition.
Yes,
the defense
a little bit
100%
closer to goal, so that he can basically play around them and basically just play them out of the match essentially with one ball. But
skip lines.
It wasn't consistent enough. It's I count really probably twice. And we started, a lot of our attack from the back, and that's just not that's not enough times. And but he did have a good goal line.
Clearly he identifies that as his strength, right? And he's trying to like do that. Skip lines, give guys momentum.
Exactly.
Put it on a dime on an offensive player. Yeah, he's trying to do that, and he clearly goes like, in terms of my resume and why welcome to my TED Talk about why I need to be the starting goalkeeper over Josh Cohen is because I can do that much better. So here is me exemplifying that over and over again as many times as I can in my chance in this game.
Right, because that's the thing. It's like, okay, you can pass it to your center back all you want when pretty much there's nobody around him, and they've pretty much been set up in a mid block. But that's the issue. Is like we have so much difficulty playing out of playing through a mid block.
Yeah. So to your point, like, and you talked about it earlier. I mentioned it to Mike when we were watching. Like, Houston very much wanted to play in a mid block, and they didn't want to get out of it. They were very committed to it, and we were like, we tried a lot. And to your point, we were saying that like Brad did probably more than he typically does to try and break Houston out of that mid block, to try and draw them out. And our that passing, that interchange between center backs and like our 6 and 8 and stuff like that, and our fullbacks, they were very much. There was just so much interchange in our half of the field because Houston refused to come forward. They refused so many times, and it's
they
like
just stayed in midfield
exactly because time. Why wouldn't they, right? Like because there's no reason to do anything but that when this is how you beat Atlanta United away. And we all know this.
You haven't shown the ability to be able to break it down consistently enough, and we pretty much in the later part of the match were playing the balls over the top to try to find Rios or Tiare in behind to be able to flick it onto Almada, and that was the goal to try to
even that seems so ineffectual because like it was just they did try to do the balls in and over behind, but like someone would get the ball, like they would get it and they would start like on a break and they would just stop and pass back.
Yeah.
They would slow up, pass back because it would every single time because no one else is either able to make the run at the speed that's necessary in order to generate the chance that everyone is hoping for, or like B, they're just like, okay, well but he's also being marked, so we're just gonna work. Okay, it's gonna be a 50-50. We're not gonna go to that 50-50 ball. We're just gonna pass back, be safe, recycle, see what happens. Because we're in the opponent's half now versus where we were, and that's an advantage. That's progress. That's good. So in a way that is good, and I appreciate that. I like that they do that, but it just kind of hurts a little bit when you're like, because like we all want Atlanta to come back to that like transitional, we're gonna hurt you on the break type stuff. Like, oh man, he's got the ball in on goal, and there's like only one other defender, and oh my god, he beats him, and then he's just in it on the goalie, and boom, right by it. And it's like everyone's like goes insane, right? But like it's just like, oh, the guy gets the ball, and there's like maybe one defender, and then he stops. And then he passes to another guy who's marked as well, gets the ball, who's shielded, and then now has to go pass it to the fullback. Thiago has to pass to the fullback who's like sprinting down to catch up or whatever, or a winger, and then they recycle again, and then they go to a cross. Like that's
it's exactly what we're there's two words for it. It's the phrase transitional inevitability, and that's what we lack. That's what we had with Miguel Miron and Joseph Martinez. We were able to pretty much, if we found them direct and on the counter, you knew that the ball was probably going to find the back of the net more often times than not. And we don't have those killers.
Martinez and Alvaro.
Yeah, and it's with the players. It's basically I disagree.
No, we don't need props right now.
Okay.
Sorry.
I disagree with the move for pretty much. Like I understood why Jay Fortune came on, is to be able to pack the midfield a little bit.
Yeah. We're losing the midfield. We conceded. We didn't want to go through the midfield at all, and it was unfortunate because, I mean, well, obviously that's the thing. Like, if you're a team who identifies you as not being effective at going at a certain aspect of another team, then you try and go outside of that or do something else to go away from that, right? Obviously, that makes sense.
Just to finish the thought. Yeah, it's basically Fortune in midfield, to like shore it up, to give more energy to McCarty, who, basically his leadership was needed out there for the latter part of the match, but his ability to be able to cut out and stop what Houston was doing, because at that moment they had the superiority. They were pretty much like possession was theirs, so we needed something to break up that. But I think the issue was bringing Almada over to the left wing, in which case, yes, a lot of times we were trying to find him in behind or basically later parts of matches, trying to create a chance from the left.
Do you think like maybe perhaps putting him on a wing maybe would have given him more freedom? Some people were calling for him being on the wing.
He was on the left wing, and it stunts his ability to be able to affect the game as much as he, where it's what he's good at in the middle.
Most effective is at the 10, is what you're saying. He needs to stay there.
Yeah, and so instead...
Yeah, I agree.
It's possible... Well, it's the lack of having another winger. That's the problem, because you still need somebody out there. Possibly, at least, at least in one sense, to at least keep the other team honest. But I think, maybe either it was take Muyumba off, or it was maybe play a diamond, which we don't really ever do.
Diamond might be nice.
Yeah. Or
I don't know if we have the personnel for it, but yeah.
Right. Or it's one of the fullbacks, kind of inverting and being in midfield to kind of at least help those numbers a little bit, so that it frees
What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Inverting fullbacks. I mean, we've talked about inverting wingers on this show before, but like, what about inverting fullbacks? Because, like I said earlier, we lacked in the midfield, and that's a lot of times what happens is with the mid block, we feel a weakness there because they flood the middle, and it forces us out. So that's kind of our only option going forward. Do we intend to try and play through it with superior numbers, superior technicians like Thiago Almada? We clearly don't. So do we invert the fullbacks to try and flood it, or do we, just abdicate it? It seems like we have to abdicate every game.
Yeah, I think the problem is that we don't have those type of technicians to be able to do that at fullback. So the issue is Brooks Lennon isn't technical enough. He doesn't have the touch in the tight spaces enough to play in midfield consistently. Caleb Wiley, I think, does, but...
You think Caleb Wiley has the touch in those spaces?
I think he does, actually, yes, because he has shown that, he has the ability to be able to, kind of play around multiple players, essentially. So around multiple defenders.
I call that athleticism, but yeah, no, I guess like, in terms of like the end product, he can get around the guy. Yeah, I give you that.
Yeah, you can disagree. That's fine. It's, I think, more his ability.
Thank you, by the way, for allowing me to disagree. Just saying. Thank you.
Yeah. But it's just more.
Your opinion's wrong, but you can have it.
His service is like, as far as the range of pass in midfield. I think that's the thing, and I don't think he's got that in his locker quite yet. And so, it's not quite just about, if he can pretty much stand there. It's if he can operate fully in those areas, and I don't think he can. Like that's he could work on that, but I think his superpower is breaking at speed.
It's not a big deal right
in
now.
open space. He's actually a player that transitionally, like on the break, I trust. His
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah, 100%.
He scored that goal. Like the goal against Charlotte.
Yeah.
Last year.
Oh,
Like,
Jesus. Well, he was at
Yeah.
left wing. Like, that was insane.
Exactly.
That was
That's
nuts.
the thing that I'm talking about. Like,
Well, I think we tried. I think we tried him at left wing several times after that, and it just didn't really. It seemed like that was kind of a flash in the pan scenario. Like that's not
But I think it's
replicable at him
focus.
at left
If
wing.
you-
A fluke.
Right. If you give him moments, to be able to, like, give him 1 or 2 moments a game, where he's able to.
All right. Here's where I'm 100% on board with what you're talking about. Like, dude, I mean, when they say teams will like just play the kids, you know what I mean? Give them the starts, throw them out there, see what happens. Is Atlanta United at that point where it's just like, why not?
Maybe in MLS.
Oh, I'm just saying, Caleb Wiley, striker, see what happens. I mean, come on. Come on.
No. So yeah, that's playing players out of position where it's not playing to their strengths. Like that's.
You don't know that. You don't know what Caleb's strengths are. You have no idea.
We do.
don't know how to spell
We
his
do
name,
know
okay?
his strengths. We've
I know
seen
how to
him
spell
play
his
them.
name.
Yeah.
I know how to spell his name, and don't even, because I know how to spell his name. CALEBWILEY.
We're going off the wrist.
So I know how to spell his name.
I'm a distraction. Sorry, AJ.
Yeah. But
He made up for it by winning a lot in Bino tonight, by the way. So,
I did.
So good for you.
Oh, thank you.
What was it? Was it 4-0 and 1 loss?
Like no, it was like 7-1.
No, it was like 6-1.
No, it was
all right.
Yeah.
Let's keep
Back
it
to
on
MLS.
track. So basically, yeah. I mean, I think this is that type of that type of game that just exemplifies the weaknesses with LA United.
Yeah, 100%.
Straight up.
But like, is a lot of that due to like the fact that like we have a lot of guys at international, or is this like a continuation though? Like, because if it's a continuation, then it's not necessarily about guys being on international break. It's like a club. It's a comprehensive issue then that extends further beyond just the guys who are typically the starters. Like, is that what you're thinking, or is this
It becomes where the amount of matches that we've had, Bartosz Slisz, Stian Gregerson, Yorgos Yakimakis, Thiago Almada, have been maybe 3.
Yeah, it's not
in my
enough.
recollection.
It's not enough to have like good statistical data to say one way or the other.
Right. And so,
But you would wager. You'd wait. So
Yeah.
are you in the camp like, if we got everyone, like this is the final Atlanta United starting 11 that's so good, right? And then they are able to play like 5 games in a row or something like that. And then is that the team? Is that like a competitive, like top 4 MLS Eastern Conference competing for trophies type team? I mean, let's factor in Yorgos Yakimakis is still here.
Yeah, I have my doubts, but I think that's the issue is that basically, we haven't had that.
Right.
And in lieu of that, our weaknesses get exposed.
So it's our depth. Our depth is what is the problem, is what you're saying. If we had, if it's our starters, we're good. But if outside of that, no.
So let me speak. So basically, yes, our floor isn't good enough. It's just
Right.
that's the problem with MLS. We know this, but our floor is just too low, and while our ceiling with all those players can be pretty high, and that's the thing, is that this season, very much so, we're flat track bullies in the sense that we beat the teams that are lower than us, but we can't beat the teams that are higher than us.
Wait, this season?
Yeah, but
this season we're losing the teams that are lower than us too.
Hold on. So that's the problem, is that this season we just keep sinking lower and lower in the standings, and so with that, we don't have any other teams that we can beat. That's the problem.
Right.
That because how many players are out, because of how many, like, it is a factor, but
and it's every game.
All that, yeah, but the floor again is just too low. We're having to bring. I mean, it's just straight up. Edwin Mosquera on a championship-winning side doesn't belong on the roster.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. I'm so happy you said it. I'm so happy you said it.
How many reserve players do you have?
It was like maybe a year ago on the 5 Takes podcast where I was just sitting there going like, this is not a guy that allows you to win any kind of silverware. And I got so much pushback, and then also I got lambasted when he started cooking at the end of last season, when the whole team started cooking. And I'm just like, I feel like...
you can bring off the bench, but...
I'm like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, but,
It's not good enough in the grand scheme, because you see his weaknesses exposed when he's starting. It's just, you have that. You have, unfortunately, a lot of the homegrowns are not ready yet. It's just straight up. Yeah. Like, they're getting a lot of playing time. There are spurts and, moments where they look really good. They look like a player that is good for the future. But if you're playing all these kids, I mean, their weaknesses also get exposed. It's not like, if they're getting this much time, it's a problem. It's a problem. Like, it's good for them, but it's not good for the team. So it's part of kind of the issue. And then you also have, just be honest, Brooks Lennon on a championship level team isn't a right back that's going to defend well enough to win you a championship.
I mean, like, when he's servicing at his highest potential, maybe but he just hasn't been doing that this year.
Right, he's great going forward, but that's the issue. Is now, well, he's not effective, as effective this season. Going forward, his weaknesses also get exposed, and then you have other players that
Although he did great tonight. I thought he did a good job tonight.
Yeah, you have like Silva, Saba, who I think can be, but they're not consistent enough. Exactly.
That's exactly the point, right? Is that, like, all these players they dip, they vacillate, off, on, and then it's just like, it's like, for this team to excel, you need them all to be on at the same time, and there's like 5 of them, and they're all off and on, off and off and off and off at different times, and it's just like, well, we're gonna struggle then at that point, if someone just isn't dialed in tonight, and then here we are. So
exactly, and that's exactly it. Is say it's like 5 on, 5 off, in terms of, because we know what we're getting with Brad Guzan.
Yeah,
that's a given. Like, they tried their shots from distance tonight. They weren't on target, so but if they were on target, I don't know.
Yeah, no, they would have gone in. Yeah,
exactly.
And then Rob Valentino would have looked ridiculous for not putting in Cohen if they were doing long shots. If Hector Herrera got a Golazo from distance that made it to ESPN FC,
Yeah, and so it's the problem that we are facing, is that while our ceiling is quite high. I think that's the issue. Is like we all know it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Like we can do things when we have everybody in the starting 11, but once it drops off, like that's where the roster construction comes in.
Yeah.
That's where the talent level. Like this is the thing. You can bring in Pep Guardiola to this team. He ain't doing shit either.
That's the best
Like,
coach in the world, man.
Okay.
Just giving you an idea.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Who's
it's
he
just
coached then?
basically,
One of the best teams
like,
in the world. Manchester City.
He is.
Gotcha.
He's
Okay.
basically gifted, not gifted, but to a degree he is with the state-run club. All the talent in the world.
He's a little salty because they beat Arsenal. I'm just saying. But anyway, okay. Sorry, okay, keep going.
Oh, that's
Probably.
right. AJ's an Arsenal fan.
He is an Arsenal fan. Yes.
Yes, but I think the thing is, I have massive respect for what the
Absolutely.
percentages that he can bring.
Absolutely.
To that. The issue is, Gonzalo Pineda didn't have those percentages that he could make Atlanta United better.
not even close.
But Ravantino, we're unsure. Probably,
He's not starting bad.
it's not
he hasn't
bad.
lost.
Yeah, but it's
Exactly.
also
Money
mid-season.
is not on him, unfortunately, probably to
there's
be
a
able
lot of
to,
things,
to
but
make these
yeah.
players better. We don't know, but but we're hoping. We're hoping that he is a player or a coach that can help players to be better and to play to their max potential, because that's what we need.
I would like that.
players.
I'm a little skeptical about it because he's been here for a while. So if he hasn't done it already, it's a little skeptical for me to be like, well, how's he gonna do it now, right? So anyway, let's look at a couple. Sorry.
Yeah. It's just one bit before we
Yeah.
go to those.
Yeah.
Valentino, I think his substitutions were, besides the fortune thing, I think they were well timed. At least it didn't make me. It didn't make me think like, oh man, like we had just scored. Like, why did we make a substitution?
Right. Yeah. There's that. Yeah. We've done that before, and it's often.
Right.
It's weird. Yeah.
Right. Or in the moments where it's like, okay, well, we didn't really need to make a sub here. Like, we had just scored. We had just, maybe we're in a good moment. But because it's a kind of fitness mandated or whatever in his own head that Pineda made substitutions. Like, these substitutions made sense, at least to me. Whether they're effective is a different thing.
Right.
But
at least at that point, you can say the methodology is clear.
Yeah.
Right.
The method to the madness at least was like, okay, I get you.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, I agree with the substitutes make sense. There wasn't any questionable subs for me for the most part tonight that maybe perhaps I don't remember, but for the most part, yes, I don't think there was anything that stuck out to me. So let's look at some of these comments. It's pretty much 4 people tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out. We got 12 watching right now. Please hit the.
We know it's super late. We should probably have started earlier.
Listen, guys. It's tailgates are fun. Atlanta United is fun, even if we're not winning, not having a good time in terms of the standings. We still have a party. We still have a good time. Please come out and see us.
So much fun.
We were at the tailgate. We were playing
So
some
much fun.
Bino board with some people at the tailgate. It was a lot of fun. This guy won
First game.
quite a few games. Good time. We were giving out free flags to people, Atlanta United flags, other swag, stickers, good, fun little trinkets you can get. It was a good time, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. It was absolutely amazing. So let's look at some of these comments. We got Connor Watson. Thanks for stopping by. Again, guys, 13 of you. I mean, at well past midnight is. I mean, we usually have a lot more, but man, dude, this is late at night, and it's incredible that even 13 of you are here. So Connor Watson says, one positive and negative is that we are pressing a little more together. However, we still wander press sometimes. That's an interesting term. He says wander press, and that is something I personally have noticed sometimes is that, and this is something that I think Pineda even mentioned some of his post-game press conferences, where he said, our press triggers are not being understood cohesively throughout the entire team. So, like, one guy thinks, I'm going to press now, this is a good time to press, but the rest of them, which need to do it at the same time, don't.
Exactly.
They're not on the same page. And so, one guy burns all of his energy, and then the other guys who are sitting there going like, well, we didn't do that, so we have some energy. But, like, that guy's now toast, essentially, for the next, like, play or two.
I think it's this. It's Yorgos Sakamaki is guilty of that.
Yes. Well, because of course he is, right? And then like Joseph Martinez would be the same way. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but like those are the guys who go and find the game, right? And they're trying to make the other players do that as well. The wingers like find the game, and so I want them to do that. But I agree with you though. If it's only Gigi, or there's miscommunication, and then the other guys are not doing it at the same time or in an effective way, this burns the team out and makes you ineffective on offense. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's that. There's, I know, it's basically Yakumaki's would pretty much, I think it's part of why he was ineffective at times is because he would burn all his energy, and when it came time to attack and it came time to where we needed him in the box, there were times where he wasn't there. He wasn't being he wasn't able to be in the spot that we needed him to be, because he had gone all the way back, tracked all the way back, which what is that called?
Henry. Sam, like a lot of the journalists were talking about that, they called like active defending was the term Pineda used, where like the whole team would be like, well, okay, when we're on defense, the striker and the wingers have to sprint all the way back to help out, right? Total defense or something like that.
Wear you out though.
Of course. So that's kind of like I think what AJ's getting at right now.
It's not absolutely necessary all the time.
Yeah.
I think there is, it's the whole total football thing. It's like, okay, yes, if he does track back, somebody needs to go forward. Somebody needs to go fill that space.
Yeah.
But we don't have the players that have the wherewithal to do that. And I think that's really what they're alluding to is that, it is the nature of this league. That is the problem. Because if you have those type of players, they're not playing in this league.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. But like that's the frustrating bit. But if you are wanting to play that way, then you need those type of players.
Yeah.
We don't have the players to press high like that. Let's not press high like that because they can't take in the information and apply it. Like it's just unfortunately, some of the players IQ in that in terms of technical IQ, football IQ is not there that they can. It's not that they're dumb. It's just that.
Full disclosure, AJ and I will readily admit that we have a significantly lower football IQ than almost everyone. So I'm just saying that right out the gate before anyone comes for us.
By no means, like smart football players where all that, but I think their ability to be able to read the defense, or read what the attack is doing in front of them, is just not quite at the level of obviously, the biggest leagues in the world.
Right.
That's why they're in this league, and that's okay, but you have to play to your players' strengths.
Exactly.
And I think that's where hopefully Valentino will, stress that and make sure that is the thing that they're trying to simplify.
I agree. I completely agree. And he said as much, at least in the press conference. So I hope that's the direction he goes. So let me finish out these comments, and then we can head out of here because it's coming close to 1, and I gotta get this little baby boy back to bed. All right. So all right.
Hey,
Connor,
I drove in today, so
he did drove. He's tired.
I am tired.
So Connor Watson says we also were showing Houston down Wiley's side. We were slow. We also were showing Houston down Wiley's side, so he took a lot more pressure than the rest of the team. Yeah, So I guess I take your comment to mean they were pressing on him on Caleb's side a lot.
What I mean.
So yeah, 100%. I agree with that. And then I think AJ even said that earlier that they were pressing on that side. Drew said.
I mean, I think to really read into what he's saying, I think it's more that. So he's saying that us, like the team, like we showed them more to the left side instead of the right side. That we did unto them instead of they were.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we were like ushering them down towards Wiley's side is what I kind of take it to mean. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Could have been.
Could have been. I mean, but that's the thing. I don't know if we were ushering them in so much that, it removes the agency of the other team that I think they've already detected that that's probably the angle they should go towards. So I think that they've probably already
strongest player.
Yeah,
and then they're it's against a 19-year-old. I mean, it's just
exactly.
It makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let me look. So Drew said, "Oh, I'm happier with this result. I was fully expecting a 3-0 loss with the roster we had tonight." You gotta also have to remember
Houston had the same issue.
Houston also is dealing with international break as well. Yeah, they have some of their DPs. So did we, though. We have Thiago Amato still, arguably one of the best players in MLS. So it is what it is. I think 3-0 was probably a little silly. You should probably, Drew, watch the our episode during the week so you can understand what a good prediction is, which is 1-1, which is what I said. But granted, it wasn't a 1-1 result, but it was a draw nonetheless.
Yeah.
So I will count that as a win for me. So anyway, Kevin B said, throughout the match, I was thinking about transfers. Do we replace Gigi during the window before we make a decision on the next coach? Ideally, you want to have the next coach in place before you elect another or find another DP striker. However, that might not be the case. We don't know exactly how the front office wants to go about this because it's a new front office, essentially. They've not had a window yet, really, like this, at least, for a striker like this. Well, I mean, kind of, but not really.
You had some in yesteryear where, we made moves before we hired a permanent head coach, and a Marcelino Moreno.
Right, but we don't know what Garth is trying to do right now.
He was not a player that was actually, a player that could fit into the system that we actually wanted to play.
Right.
It was just more like a player that was a profile of a player that Carlos Bocanegra had wanted to bring in.
And it was a DP light too.
Exactly, and it's just not there is a degree of that where I think you need to prioritize. That's the thing. They're saying they want to give Valentino the chance and all that, but it also is roster construction is super important as well.
Yeah.
I think you have to find the coach. You have to find the coach first.
I agree, 100%. Because but it's it's the conversation. It's what's the direction Garth wants to take the team? Does it want to be like that? Well, it doesn't really matter what the coach is. We have a playing philosophy, and it's plug and play with the players that we try and look for. Or is it we are? But I mean, in his little interview he kind of said that he's open to actually not doing that. He's actually open to, well, maybe we can get a coach, and the coach will then tell us this is actually the identity we want Atlanta United to play as, a completely different thing. And then at that point, I was like, sure, great, let's try something new. Great, because we have been losing more than we've been winning, so why the F not? So I was 100% let's do that, on board.
The problem is with that is absolutely kind of the things that we've been experiencing, obviously, with Boca, but that's really what it is if you are wanting to have a collective ethos for the club and how we play, I mean, that's been the problem. Is what is our ethos?
We haven't really had one, but I feel like it's a corporate one that needs to be thrown out because it's just like, oh, you want the high attacking, fun, swashbuckling soccer. It's like if that doesn't win, I don't freaking care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not been effective, and so ultimately, with Boca and kind of the plans that he set out, that's why he's got to go.
Yeah,
because it's
exactly
clouding the judgment for the type of players that we're going to bring in. We need a clear statement of, this is how we're like. With all the things that Red Bulls that they don't do well, what they do well at the very least throughout their entire kind of sister clubs and whole system within the their group is that they play a certain style and they're not deviating from
Salzburg.
Yeah, I can respect that. It's definitely not maybe
RB Leipzig, all those guys.
Yeah, it's not where maybe they're absolutely winning the most trophies, but
they're consistently in the running. They're consistent, and that's what Red Bulls is in MLS too. They're consistent. They always make the playoffs, just like Salzburg, just like RB Leipzig. If we can get something like that going, who's to complain, right? So anyway, I'm gonna get through these comments if it's gonna kill me. So.
Sorry. You have total noob jumping in here, right?
All right, noob is gonna jump in. I'm gonna use the bathroom because I need to use the bathroom.
I'm not taking over the king seat though.
Just go.
So AJ, let me ask you this, right? Total noob question. Cause y'all keep talking about the coach and the players and all that. You have a new coach who didn't form the team, and he's trying to conform his style with players that he did not put together. How do you think that is kind of playing towards them not performing as efficiently and together?
That is therein lie the problem.
Yep.
So it's basically there's a couple schools of thought. There's probably a little bit more than that, but we'll boil it down to two. Basically, you have the coach who basically, because of his track record and success that he's had previously, if he's that effective of a head coach, well then yes, you bring in the players to be able to match what he's trying to do. Whether it's you don't blow it up immediately, you'll probably, it's a little bit of a process. But when you have a pretty much first time head coach in Gonzalo Pineda, who we just got rid of, he doesn't have an identity as a coach. He's still figuring it out. He's still learning on the job. There is no way in that sense that he will really have a clear-cut thing that he's trying to do that we know is effective. He doesn't have the track record.
Yep.
So that's the issue. Wrong. But it's also, you have the other school of thought is to, and that's more of the Carlo Ancelotti type of, and what we're maybe hoping in a very, 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 very light version in Rob Valentino, in a person that can maximize the strengths of the personnel that you have at hand first, and then if he establishes that this is the way that we can best utilize the squad, and if not, then you make some moves to better serve kind of a little bit more of what you're trying to do. So the difficulty obviously is the first way, you have to either move a lot of players on, spend a lot of money to get the right type of players, or the second way is you maximize, you basically squeeze as much, or if not all, the juice out of the players that you get that are already the incumbent. And I think at this point, that's why it is a smart move to go with the Rob Valentino, who has shown a little bit. We don't know on the long-term track record because he doesn't have it. But in the small interim head coach time that he's been one for us, he's shown that he can squeeze the juice out of some of the players. So
Nice.
ultimately, if we can probably do that, I think it can be a little bit more effective for if Carlos Bocanegra is, our technical director, the person that brings in these players. Obviously, I think he's being a little bit more squeezed out just by the talk of the CEO, the president, Garth Lagerwey, and it seems like with that, there is maybe a little bit more of an identity or an image in which he's trying to build the club a little bit, and so.
I can't imagine that's the case right now. I can't imagine we're trying to forge an identity with an interim manager.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Is that Valentino needs to squeeze the juice out of these players.
So get squeezing, Rob. I feel like that'll be fun to watch at least for a little while. It was last time, so we'll continue on with that. Let's get through a couple more of these things. Then I think I have one question personally for AJ to answer tonight. I know it's not super rare that I have questions for AJ, but I will have a doozy for him for the end question to go over because it just kind of came to me. So Connor said that thought process isn't gonna change in just 1 week and one game. It's gonna take time. Also, playing safely when winning is different than a 0-0 or losing. Rob also said he wanted to focus more on direct play.
Exactly.
And he did say that.
That's huge.
Yes, AJ, please let me get through these. I just want to get through them. It's almost 1 a.m. Just let me get through them, then we'll talk. There's not that many. Okay, hold on real quick. Connor, he also says the issue is we would need 3 center backs to play with a left wing back inverting or right wing back. Not necessarily. People away doesn't help. However, it's pretty. On the international break, as we said. People away on the international break. However, it's pretty clear to me that the team and surrounding parts aren't working together. A new voice in the chat tonight. I haven't seen you before. Welcome, Anthony Neitzel says, really hoping we see a lot of movement in the roster this window, both ways. Interesting. He also said, Connor Watson comes back and says, the starters can beat most teams in MLS. The really well-drilled teams get the better than us. Yeah. He also says, as I said earlier, and across most of the time that Mascara has played, he's a donkey with speed. Like Jinjin Press. So just realized I was about... no problem. And last comment was, one good thing with buying into Pineda's playstyle is the type of players information are widely found in today's game. So those are all the comments tonight. If you have any more comments, I know there's 11 of you watching. We are going to be closing out after this last kind of summation.
I just can't type them.
I know. Mike's over here just his pseudonym is Connor Watson. He's over here on his alternative account hitting these things in. I appreciate you, Connor, for hanging out with us, and also Anthony and the other ones that are hanging out. Get your last questions in for this game in our time tonight. Anyway, AJ, do you want to hit any of those things before I hit you with our scintillating last question that I had in my head?
Scintillating.
Yeah, so as far as playing 3 center backs, it's not necessarily, but you do have to have one of the other fullbacks kind of fall into a 3 center back look. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to play with 3 center backs, but the ability for any of Brooks Lennon or Caleb Wiley to play in the 3, I have my doubts, and that's another part of the issue as well. Is that those fullbacks, their profile does not match that. They're wingers. They're those type of players that are best served, playing forward in a more now kind of modern fullback way. They are not inverted fullbacks. They're not players that you can trust, in the middle of the park on a consistent basis. On a, play here and there, sure. But, also those type of players are also extremely, extremely coveted at this moment too. And, I would say that's probably, unfortunately, what we can try to, hope that we can play that way. Yeah, it's probably unlikely. And so the alternative is to be able to have enough versatility in your midfield. With that, like they brought on Latif Blessing, who changed the game for them.
Yeah,
he was basically he is that type of originally a winger.
I mean, LAFC thoroughbred guy, dude. Changed his games, right. Dude.
Exactly. So he went from SKC being a winger to a midfielder, a central midfielder at LAFC, one of the best pressing central midfielders in the league when he was with LAFC, and that's how he changed the game. Was that? Yeah,
there's two in LA. That's why it's confusing.
It's basically, and then he found himself in space to be able to, just scorch it past Raguzan at the back post. It's just like that's part of the issue. Is like that's a talented player. Whether he's a
TAM player, right?
On the wrong side of probably where we should be bringing in players, but still, it's a very talented player, and man, that's what's so annoying is you have a Franco Escobar who is a player that can do those type of things. Would be able to be a player that can add the versatility, or a Latif Blessing. These are those are very, very effective players in title winning sides, and
it's the reason why Houston is a title winning side.
Yep, exactly, and because they've been doing some things right and bringing these type of players. So, yep, that's one I want to touch on.
Poaching LAFC, a championship winning side. Poaching Atlanta United, a championship winning side. Yeah. It's almost as if, like, there's a pattern here,
We train them, they take them.
Dad, don't get me started on that. I'm a Flyers fan, and that just hurts.
I saw the jersey. I didn't want to insult you in here.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's check, see if there's any more comments. Oh, by the way, happy you came out, hung out with us today at the tailgate. He says, I'm surprised you're still live streaming. Keep it up. We really need a midfield. I mean, we're always streaming, buddy. At the end of these games, we're always doing it. Always.
Just late tonight.
It's just late because we were partying with the people, out with the people tonight. So sometimes you just gotta touch grass, hang out. So yeah, we do need a midfield. I mean, obviously we need our players back from international duty, honestly. So it is what it is. Anyway, AJ, so my final question to you before we head out of here. So anyway, everyone else in the chat, I know there's only 11 of you tonight, but if you want, yeah. But if you want to hit us with one final question, please do it now because we're gonna get headed out of here real soon.
Was it boxers or briefs?
It's boxers or briefs. No. What it is that I wanted to ask AJ, what is, in your opinion, is the best way to approach a game in MLS, regardless of away, home, regardless of international break, not international break, regardless of interim coach, head coach. What is the most winningest way to approach a game, tactically speaking, in MLS? I know this is obviously an impossible question to ask, but I just thought it'd be interesting to see what you say.
Sure. I mean, obviously, people with higher pay grades, obviously should answer these questions because.
Yeah, and that's why I'm asking you, because you make the big ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. But that's the golden question for most of the teams, that pretty much every team that doesn't win it, or win a trophy.
Right. I'm not asking you what the right answer is. I'm asking what your opinion is.
Oh, I know.
Well, his opinion is the right answer.
That's right.
It is
of course.
important to give the caveat, but but essentially it's this. like I mentioned earlier with the transitional inevitability, is that type of play where you're able to pretty much shred teams on the counter. You can do that against any team. You can do that against, obviously, the top teams, because if they have the ball, you just need moments. If it's against a bottom dwelling team, again, you just need moments. You don't, anytime that they move forward, which there's ebbs and flows in a game. So the other team is eventually going to want to attack. And if they're going to attack, well then, yeah, you have the moment that you can actually go and, yeah, it's super distracting that you guys are talking. And,
sorry about that.
We were getting awkward reverb back here.
Yeah, I was. So. Yeah, the stream can't hear me talking, but sorry.
Gotcha. Well, either way, yep. So, yeah, to answer that question, it's being able to hit teams on the counter effectively.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
Kill them off when you have the chances that you create. And so basically, that is effective against any team.
The thing that you and I have been asking for Atlanta to do for years is what you think is probably something we should do. Me and you both, buddy. I mean, hopefully we can see a little bit of that come with away games, at least, maybe, with Rob Valentino for the rest of his tenure.
Exactly. And so, you have that, you have pretty much, exactly how we were effective against, even a Red Bull side that didn't want the ball. Like we hit them on the counter. We said, you can have the ball.
Yeah. Which is like impossible to do against a team like Red Bulls, but we figured it out.
Exactly. But we figured it out, exactly. And so, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that we've gone so far.
Your point is so much more proven in the fact that we did it against the literal best player in the world and his band of merry men, Messi, in Miami. Like, the fact
there's a reason why.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Real Madrid have won so many Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
They figured out how to beat Messi.
Yeah, it's through being able to be, because it's as many like just crazy good teams that Pep Guardiola has coached. The problem is that, yes, unfortunately, playing with possession does not equate to fully always winning the league, winning Champions Leagues, winning trophies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just isn't the case. But it is very attractive, and you can do both. You can have a team that possesses the ball and is inevitable transitionally. But it is hard. So
it's extremely hard. And it takes a lot of talent and a lot of luck, too.
Just because you have the ball, it depends on what you do with the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The goalie holds the ball for like a minute or two. Doesn't mean you're scoring goals.
Exactly. That's a good point.
Sorry.
Yeah, 100%.
Throwing in my 2 cents.
So, no, it's 100% right. Like, because there's a lot of what they call, like, pointless possession.
Yeah.
Like, you can just pass it around between your center backs and goalie. Like, half the game, it's like you have the possession advantage, and everyone goes like, wow, they had the ball 90% of the fucking game, and then they have 0 goals and their team is 3. So it's like that is at the end of the day what matters is goals and winning games. So maybe Atlanta can hopefully look into perhaps being more hitting on the transition, more on counter-attacking football, because
it's not because we do that. It's just that we're not effective in finishing those chances. We need to find those killers. We need to find those players that, sure, there's a lot of teams looking for it, obviously, but I think if we prioritize that, if we, it's like, oh man, like this guy, when he's one-on-one, it's just, that's what it is. You know he's going to probably hit the back of the net more often than not. And we had 2 of those at the same time, and then possibly a third with Tito at times.
Oh, yeah.
A little less. The percentages were a little less with Tito, but it still was like he had those moments where he was, he could create his own shot, be able to get into that, that moment, that opportunity. But anyway.
Braguzan had an 8.0 on the Sova score tonight.
That's what I'm saying. He had a pretty decent match.
Yeah, we let them. Here's the thing, dude. I'm seeing. I mean, I'm gonna parade this around a little bit more. And I don't know if AJ. I know you did it, but I don't know if we're doing it enough, because we conceded the possession battle tonight. They had 55. We had 45, and we had a 2.01 xG. They had a 1.55. And we ended up tying, and we absolutely could have won this game too.
That's different than what we had at the field. It was a 2.2 versus a 0.8.
Yeah, at halftime we had the disparity was much higher. But
we had a little bit more possession. I think at halftime, a little bit more, still kind of 50, 60 minutes.
First half we had 52%.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, we had 38%, and it averaged to an overall 45.
And that's why Fortune was brought on, was to, kind of fill the midfield a little bit more, try to break up their play. And to a degree, it was a little bit effective, but, then we conceded. So it just,
Tam,
it is what it is. That's kind of the microcosm, is, they adjusted, we tried to adjust. Unfortunately, they found that equalizer because they were able to find that adjustment.
They also, that first goal, they probably, in my estimation, I don't think they really deserved very much, because it was just kind of rando ping-pongy nonsense. So, it's not like their system worked or something, in my opinion.
Sure, but still, again, when they were attacking, right out of the blocks, they looked like they were going. Yeah,
they were there to play the soccer game, of course. Yeah, but
it was right before that play, there was just their attack looked like like they were lucky not to score, and then they scored this kind of ping pong garbage kind of goal a little bit at the back post.
Yeah.
Which is,
No, it's annoying. It's annoying to let a .8 xG team score on you in the first half when you have above 2.
It was the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was frustrating.
They pretty much sat back a little bit after that.
Yeah. And of course they did. Why not, right? They're going to try to hit you on the counter at that point.
Right. And that was kind of the thing, because it's they knew that we're not a team that is very effective with possession. So, they got their goal. It was a smart thing for them to do. But, we were able to at least kind of go against the norm, which was we pressed up high and won the ball up high. Not something that they were expecting us to do really well. And that's what it is. It's the whole clock thing, it's still, you can, that's why the game is not played on paper.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That human element.
Exactly, yeah. So many variables. All right, so one last comment, and then we're gonna get the H out of here. It's past 1 a.m. Connor says, possession-based football is very good for league matches, playoffs, tournaments. Counterattacking has been proven to be very effective, and I agree with that. So hopefully maybe we'll do a little bit of that if we make it somehow into the playoffs. It's looking all rough. So anyway, so this has been Michael, this has been my guest, Mike, hanging out for his
Mike
first
and Mike.
Atlanta United
Oh yeah.
game. So that was a good time for him. And
Loads
of
of fun.
course, as always, AJ hanging out with us. We will see you later. AJ, do you want to sign us out?
Yes, it did. So, yeah, everyone that stuck around till 1:15 a.m. in the morning on Sunday morning on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Yeah.
Michael.
Hey, happy Father's Day.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and all to you, you dads out there, to your dads, to all the poppies.
You poppies.
All the poppies. Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Listen,
Well, anyway,
there's a lot of Hispanic music at the tailgate tonight. All right.
Oh yeah. You felt the culture.
Yeah,
culture here.
that is undeniably part of Atlanta United's culture.
For sure. But yeah, everyone, thank you so much for sticking around and hanging out. Much love to you all. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Good night.
Take care,
Good night.
everybody. Have a good one.